IP, IP,
IP,
IP, IP,
IP,
IP. Welcome to IP series, home to all things IP related, where I give you the stories, tips, and implications to business and creative decision concerning your intangible assets with real life case study. I am your host, Rita Anwarah. Subscribe and turn on your notification so you don't miss an episode. Cheers, guys.
This is the fourth podcast version of our annual Christmas edition, where I try to bring in 12 guests to talk about different areas of IP. So this year's own is going to be a little different. I will feature in some sections, but trust me, we have interesting guests lined up for this year's episode. So let's meet our first guest for 2023. Welcome to IP series. Kindly introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Rita Anwarah. I presently head legal and operations at Anthill Studios. So basically, this involves overseeing the legal aspect and the operational aspect of the company's runnings, right? So uh, I basically I'm a lawyer, obviously. I'm a lawyer, but I've also I also love the idea of operations in the sense that understand not just being relegated to just legal part, but understanding the entire process, both the creative,
The behind the scenes.
yes, the behind the scene of every single thing the company does, from animation to films to documentaries, advertisements, everything. So yeah, then even the corporate governance and yeah, everything about the company, basically, business
Um,
of the company.
Very, very inspiring. Pretty excited about this because one, we have similar names. That's another story for another day. But as an in-house lawyer or counsel that works for a film production company as big as Anthill, what are some of the common legal issues and challenges that you face on your day-to-day activity? So kind of like give us like a get. It's not a get ready with me, or follow me round the hood or something like that. One of these TikTok trends.
Oh, okay. In no particular order, really. I think I'll just basically list a couple of the challenges that I actually have to deal with. I think the first one would be clearly the obviously drafting agreements and contracts. Now, because of how dynamic the entertainment industry is, the media entertainment industry is, you cannot always, unlike regular real estate and the rest. Some of these things are they're very dynamic. So I think one of the first challenges would be clearly defining rights and obligations in a contract. It's clearly defining what anybody is getting, everything in the contract, the reviewing of it, the negotiating with stakeholders. That would be like the first part of it, because it's not as straight as you would think, because a lot of it are dealing with intangible objects, which are intellectual property, which is like our major assets. You get, it's not, you can't just draw a line and everybody's seeing the line. So it's some, I think that's one of the um challenges that I think I'd face. Then also liaising with the external counsel when it comes to managing and protecting the IP. So that when it comes to IP audits, which IPs have we currently used? or are we currently using, which one is what registering right now and which isn't. Then there's the part about data protection, as in that's for privacy, and there's the privacy, there's data protection, there's information, those kind of things. You're in an industry that everything is social media based. So being the level headed person in that room or conversation a lot of the times is not very, very fun. I'll tell you the truth. Being the one person that stops everybody from having too much fun and draws the line for them can be pretty challenging. Um, yeah. Then dealing with the regulatory compliances from censorship to rating ramification classifications, to content restriction, even when it comes to even dealing with your client's products, like when you do products, you have to make sure one person does not put a, a competitor's brand in the content you are creating for your client. Um, if you're not careful, you have to take down an entire production because of one mistake. So
Wow.
that's part of the things. I think we've one time we've had to take down a particular with like a very short ad. But doing the short, you see the 1 minute ad doesn't mean it was shot in 1 minute. We had to take it down, like cancel that entire production, that entire product, that particular ad, because someone had, for some reason, put a competitor's brand inside it, and it was too where how it was too strategic in a way that you couldn't edit it out. So that's what,
Wow.
and that is resources down the drain. That is manpower time. That's time down the drain. So then there's the part about even when it comes to dispute resolution, it can be, it can be a lot. Yeah, but
It's the side for me, like seriously.
it can be a lot because you have to manage relationships. You have to at every time cross the line between the legal person and
Yeah.
being the being the same person in a conversation, because when you're dealing with
The neutral person, basically.
yes, when you're dealing with creatives, they are too emotional.
Hmm.
They are so emotional that it lets them blind them. So when they are happy, they are too happy. You have to call them back. When they are upset, they are too upset, and they want to. So imagine trying to also try keep everything inside, because
Yeah.
you are in an environment that every issue is laid in the court of public opinion, aka social media. And that's, as a lawyer, that's not, you can't get any what they call it. You can't get any judgment from social media. You can't get any remedy from social media. If anything, there's that PR problem. And again, I'm in operations. So while dealing with the legal, you have to deal with the PR
Yeah.
and contain it.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's just a few of my challenges as I go through.
A few?
And
That's a lot for me to take in.
have you
Like seriously.
have you thought about the when with AI now coming into the picture?
Swear
That one
down.
introduces a
Swear
new
down.
level of issues. So you see, it's a really dynamic place. It is as fun as it is exhausting. It is as fun as it's exhausting. So
Uh,
yeah.
wow. I mean, I kind of enjoy behind the scenes because it just puts your head in the creative aspect of your work, and then you're able to appreciate it more. I mean, seeing finished products, no doubt, but then the behind the scene just tells you that you're the real MVP at the end of the day. So my second question to you would be, how do you then handle? I know you mentioned a little bit about it, but talking about contracts, intellectual property rights, talent agreement, distribution deals, compliance, and congrats, you got inducted into the Corporate Governance Association, right?
Society for Corporate Governance, Nigeria.
I shall got
You
it
got it.
somehow, but
You
yeah,
got the corporate governance. That's all that matters. Thank you.
that's all I want. So how do you then merge all of your experiences with all these things? So contracts, distribution, because it entails you to. It's more or less like you're wearing so many hats as a lawyer. Hence why they call us learned because we're supposed to know everything. But then I think, or I would like to assume that with each client or with each deal, it gives you a different experience. You're able to fine tune it and create your own template. How do you handle all of this?
I think first is understanding what everybody wants, right? Understanding what everybody wants. When you understand what everybody wants, it's easier for you to now say, okay, good. Now I get you, right? I can now draft. So the thing is with everything here, everybody, I just said everybody wants something. You need to know what they want. And then it goes to your contract drafting. You get, so you do the negotiation, whether it is with a talent, whether it's talent agreement, or it is distribution deals, or it is whatever it is, your approach is almost the same thing. At least the beginning of your approach is the same thing. Understanding. Then identifying. When you understand it, you're able to identify what needs to go into a contract. Right. And I'm very, very particular about balancing what everybody wants, the interest of all parties. You understand? But I like to balance the interest of all parties, but I also know that I have to protect the company's rights and interest. You don't want to be that person who is just focused solely on taking when it comes to the company. The company, remember, I still deal with like the PR. So while in my conversations or negotiations with clients or investors or talents or whoever, the distributors and the rest, I have to present a very trustworthy, understanding partner. I have to show that this company is a company that it will be a good partner, whatever it is. You understand? We're fighting for the same thing. The bottom line is to make money. We're both smiling to the bank. Make money and make impact. You get? So I think the first thing I always think about is what does everybody want? What's the interest? Now taking that interest and putting it on paper, right? Then looking at intellectual properties, you check, identify which elements I want. Looking at the licensing, securing the right licenses, because if you don't secure the right licenses, my sister, you will go through a lot that you cannot come.
Yes, so I
You would go.
spend a lot of money.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you are a big name, when you are a name, right? Because I think I consider our company to be a growing company. But once you're a name, nobody wants to know if you were paid 0%, 0 naira or 100 million naira. When they come for you, they will come with the biggest figure in their head. So obtaining the right licenses, as in right necessary licenses and permissions from third parties, are very important to us. Now, when it comes to like distribution, we always do due diligence. It's very important. You can't say just because a distributor is a big name, right? That you just say yeah, 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 and then we try not to get bullied. You also have to try not to get bullied by the big names as well. You know,
How how does that actually happen? I mean, getting bullied when you're trying to get something. How does that really happen?
bullied in the sense that you're most always a lot of times presented with a take it or leave it um contract.
Approach.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's a like when you have on a am I permitted to mention any brand outside the entertainment? Just something like generic. Am I allowed to? Or I'm not allowed?
Yes, as long as it's not going to compromise your role
No, no,
at
no,
Anthill or there's
no.
no.
That,
So yeah,
things
go
like
ahead.
when you you want to sign up on sites like Jumia or Gigi, there's a term and condition that you agree to.
Yeah.
When you want to, yeah,
Yes.
do you negotiate it with them? You don't. It's take it or leave it. Do you understand? There's a delivery fee that is going to be. You can't negotiate delivery fee with them. Do you know? You're not even seeing anybody to negotiate with. So a lot of times when you have a lot of big players, you have if you're not careful, you will you may seem bullied into taking stuff, right? But when you do your due diligence and always stand your ground, it is very important. If something is not fitting for you, it's okay to walk away. Except you're not owing the bank and or investors and they come for you, but it's okay to walk away. So like we do, you have to do your thorough due diligence, because doing all this will help to mitigate your risks. You understand, in the future. That's another thing that we look at. You look at your laws and regulation. So basically, it's just you have to combine your legal expertise, right? You have to, like, your negotiation skills, you know, with like a proactive approach of compliance. You mix it up all in there. That's literally how
Interesting.
I deal with it. Hmm.
So, would this also be associated with censorship in terms of reaching out to the film boards or having to reach out to, say, community leaders or heads? I mean, if you look at, I don't want to mention this movie, but I know there was this movie that came up this year and premiered on Amazon Prime and got everyone talking in terms of custom, culture, uh, depiction and all of those things. How do you guys maneuver all of that when you're interacting with your script writers and also coming up with the the pre-production stage of your work?
If I get you asking if I when it comes to censorship and like getting ratings for the film, how we go about.
Yes, yes. If you can share.
So usually that's something that your distributors, from where we stand, so a lot of times distributors would help you with that, unless you've created like a relationship with the censors. But that's I can't really go into the details of that. I'm not I can't go into the details of that. But it's basically you can reach out to the censorship board, but it's usually through your distributors. That's the way it
Okay then.
happens.
Okay
But
then.
if you're
So
writing,
what
if
would
you're
you
dealing, if you
say?
want a particular film that is say 16 rated, or you basically want to start it from, you know the content of your film, if you have a lot of nudity in it or strong language and all that. So it's a thing where you have to make a case to why this film should be given a particular rating. This is why. There are
Okay.
basically regulations for how or why this has to be. It is like these are the what do you call it, these are the criteria for XYZ rating. Do you understand? These are criteria. So you have the strong language, you have the nudity, you have, you know, the number of stuff. That's like what I can think up off the top of my. Maybe I would like to maybe just touch on the censorship thing a little,
Okay.
right? Because I know a number of young what they call it, young producers even, and all that tend to even try to do this as well. So it's basically, obviously, it's with the Nigerian Film and Video Censor Board, right? So you make a submission of the film. There's a guideline. You fill the form. They will screen it, right? So if when they look at it, they would basically give it a classification based on what they see. Usually, it's like I said, it has to do with the content of the film and the kind of information that the kind of the content really, you know, like you mentioned, cultural, what they call it, like the cultural sense of the film, the cultural sensitivity, the other regulatory requirements, the content, the kind of content, strong words, and the rest of it, right? So they can, when they do that, they'll give it a rating. If you don't like it, you can just, appeal to them, but you have to make a case. However, once they do that, they can issue a certificate of the rating. But usually, we tend to leave it to, a lot of times, leave it to this to the distributors
Okay.
tend to do this a lot for us. It makes it easier. They make, because you don't, if you might, it's just can be, it can be a long back and forth sometimes. So it's part of the things that fits into some distribution agreement, which is obtaining censorship for the film.
So what other best practices or tips would you are you willing to share with us that got you to where you are now?
Um, I think the first thing is you can't serve an industry that you don't understand, right? You can't serve a client whose business you don't understand. So it goes back to really understanding what it takes to the creative process of what a production entails. So if you are in the music part, what does it take? If you are in the sports part, what does it take? If you're in the film industry, what does it take? Right. So I think the first thing is understanding the business. That's the first. Second is you have to learn. Yeah, as a lawyer, as lawyers, you can't always think of only legalese. You have to be ready to combine your open communication skills, your legal expertise, combine your preventive measures, and like have a strategic approach towards like a dispute resolution when dealing with your clients. You need or dealing with coming to entertainment industry. It's very dynamic and you have to be open to technology, to new technology, because you can't always know everything at every point, right? You must I think that's one of the ways to even prevent any dispute is starting from when you're drafting your documents, anticipating these disputes and putting it there, and creating like good relationships within the industry, and not all just be about the money immediately, because oh my god, the money is there, and then all you want is just the glitz and the glamour is basically not getting carried away as well by the glitz and glamour of the entertainment industry, and being the the voice of reasoning within the space. I think that's basically it. And also just specialize, learn more about the industry. It's not everything that's on social media only. You really have to know what it entails, what it takes to actually
Okay.
be in that process. And yeah,
Okay, so
I
can
think
you
that's it
recommend like
really.
where someone can start, like books to read, people to follow? I know I would say everyone should follow you first, but any other person you may want to recommend at this point in time, whether they are producers, they are filmmakers, they are distributors or lawyers or artists.
First, I'll say follow
I
Anthill.
love that. I love that. Follow Auntie. Everybody follow Auntie. I'm actually following
I'll say follow
Auntie,
Anthill.
and I think I follow.
Follow Anthill.
Follow Auntie
Are
and
you
I follow
following Anthill?
Nia as well. I see all his posts on Twitter and on LinkedIn and also on Instagram. So yeah, I'm
One of the reasons why I highly recommend you follow Anthill is this. We are a company that we're big on teaching, teaching people. We're big on sharing knowledge. If you've followed Neil long enough, you know that he used to even run a blog where he talks and teaches about how to shoot a film with budget and within with a small budget, and all that. If you follow our YouTube page, you can see our BTS on how we create our sets, the process that goes behind it, where and then any staff is willing to tell you, this is how we do things, because we're very transparent like that. We're very we have an open book. We're like an open book, right? And we are very big on knowledge sharing. We don't hoard information on knowledge. That's why I would say first and foremost follow Anthill. I Because of the international best practice, I'll say they should follow you, because people like you will
you're
drag me
putting me
out
on
of
the
my
spot. We're not
comfort
even talking
zone.
about no, like let's focus on Vita. Okay. I mean I get it because we get similar needs and all that. Thank you for including my name to your list. It means a lot to me. But for including my name to your
Yes, I didn't hear what you said.
thank you for including my name to your list. I know we bear the same name. Let's not be like you're biased. This is not being biased, now, but yet I really do appreciate it.
No, it's not. Mm. But it's true because you bring me out. I wouldn't. I'm obviously everybody knows I'm pretty private. I'm pretty quiet. I don't really do too much like that unless I'm being dragged out of my comfort zone, like you have done. So, yeah, they should follow you. Um, I think Omotayo.
Yes, that's
That's
her name.
that's her
Yeah,
name,
she
right?
works with Ebony Life now.
Omotayo
Yes.
with Ebony Live. Yes, she used to be with Silver. She works with Ebony Live. I think she's really great as well. Um, see, you have put me on the spot now. I'm thinking of all the people I have to call their names so that nobody comes after
Isioma,
me and says she didn't call me.
Abunuka. I'm helping you. I'm helping you. I'm helping you.
For young producers, for people that are doing really great things in the industry and they're like young filmmakers, I'll say follow Jelax, Bolaji Jelax. And I think Gail Wanchiko, Abigail Wanchiko, they were like family members to the studio, and they just came out. The movie just came out and even showed on Afrif as in Tiembo. Also, yeah. I'd say follow Brooke, the Brooke director. I don't know. He's one of our smallies here, but he's doing great thing. And then follow Dolakwa Dikun. She's really really great. Um, Follow someone like Claudia Wonga if you're a VFX person because she legit shows you what and everything. She doesn't hide it. But for lawyers, I would say like Omotayo. I'd say you. I'm really. There's one other person I can't remember. She wants something about IP Institute. Then please go and follow the World Intellectual
Yeah.
Property
Follow
Organization.
Beverly
Those ones are always
Abakova
churning
as
out
well.
stuff that are really cool. And yeah,
Okay. Okay. I said follow Beverly and
you
Beverly
said.
Abakova as well.
And then hey, there's no sir, one Beverly. Yes, yes, Beverly. Beverly, yes, Beverly is really, really good. Then there's one person I keep seeing him. Um, keep seeing him is Nosa something. Oh God, Nosakire Wadi. Yes, because I follow him. I follow him, but I'm really quiet about following people. Yeah, sorry, but I follow what he posts when it comes to social. When it comes to intellectual property, but when it comes to books, one of my favorite books till date, and I highly recommend if you can lay your hands on it, is Clearance and Copyright by Linda Caliph. Abi, yes, Clearance and Copyright. Yeah, let me see, Clearance. I'm trying to remember the name. Or Copyright. Yes, that's by what's her name again? Lisa Caliph. Yes, that's one book I highly recommend if you are into the film making space. You might have to order it on Amazon, but yes, I highly recommend it.
That's it.
I think that's the only book on my head right now
Thank you.
that comes to
Thank you.
mind.
And any other WIPO
So
free
yeah.
material would serve as well. So I think again, because you touched a little bit on how you touched a little bit on how you deal with clients and investors and also this resolution. So before I ask you my next question, I'll like to issue you. Secondly, I have another congratulation for which is congratulating you on being a member of the CRM Institute. But then let's hear your this resolution journey in the film space. How did it start? What would you say have been your favorite movie project that you've been a part of since working at Anthill? Becoming a member of the Charter Institute of Arbitrators.
Thank
And and flowing from that, what would you say? What are your this resolution features? How did your journey the year I'll start, and what would you say have been your favorite movie project since you started working with Anthill?
Okay. So how did my journey start into being an in-house lawyer with Anthill? So what
Not
I
in-house, like being an arbitrator,
oh
basically,
arbitrator.
because
Okay.
yeah,
Uh so I always loved alternative dispute resolution. I always loved arbitration and mediation. And it's funny because myself and Annie have been friends for years. And when it came to shooting the arbitration back then, you know, because I consulted on it and I always discuss, I'll be like, I'll be gisting with him, like, forget, I really don't like going to court. I've never been, so, um, shout out to those people that go to court every time. I've been there, done that. Not sure I want to do it again, right?
why,
I don't want to be a
why?
litigant, a litigator, or whatever it's called. I don't want to be a litigation lawyer. I've always been
Mm,
like the soft life of a corporate lawyer that does all the plenty work in the head. So I joined.
nice.
So I had just um left a particular law firm, and I said, look, if I was going to join any law firm again, I have to be sure I'm getting like good training. So I joined S1C Legal, and when I joined them, you know, it was I under the very very strong mentorship and leadership and tutelage of Mr. Sheila Ojo and Mrs. Adekoya. Mr.
And I
Sheila
think he just became a
is
silk. They
son,
made him a
yes.
silk.
Yes.
Yeah, congrats to your boss as well.
Thank you, because I'm collecting my flowers, the flowers on his behalf. So, he's a very very intelligent man, and very very amazing arbitrator. So he was obviously we had arbitrations, and he was like, "Look, come and sit in." No, in fact, no. I actually asked him that, can I sit in? He's like, would you want to be the registrar? I'm like, sure. And that was it. That was legit it for me, and I became the go-to person in the firm when it comes to arbitration. If he wanted to do anything in arbitration, or somebody had a question, he would just send them to me. So that was literally how I just bumped into the whole arbitration thing, and it was weird. It was very very exciting for me when I found out he was at the time a fellow of the institute, because this was an institute I really really wanted to be a part of. So I started with taking the registrar course in 2018. Then I did the online dispute resolution course. That was during COVID, I think. International, yeah, the international online dispute resolution, international arbitration, something around that. And then
Yeah.
um, I wanted to now say, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to join the institute properly now. But one thing or the other kept coming up, and I just, but that eventually, it happened this year, right? So yeah, that's
Shout out,
happened.
shout out.
That was how I came into arbitration, generally. So I had
Wow. So
to
shout
sit.
out to good mentors. Shout out to good mentors at the end of the day.
See, I cannot even lie. It was a very wonderful experience, because what that meant for me was every single I had to be up to date, because for no reason should Mr. Ojo must not ask me anything about any new regulation or old regulation that I don't know. He would
Or any hot
anything I
basically.
must know. And then because of where I was, because of how I was really interested in arbitration, I was put as part of almost every arbitration in the firm. That is, so either I'm sitting in as registrar for every time he's on a panel, or I am sitting as counsel. We are counsel in arbitration, and because of that, I'll always run points on it. It was just a very very great experience. I won't even lie. It was really really like an amazing experience. Yeah. So what's the second question? Because that was like the first I could remember.
Oh yeah, the second question, like what's like your favorite movie project that you've done since you joined Anthill? And then I'm going to add, what are the available career paths within this area that you've specialized in? I know there's a compliance, is this resolution, but then what are the other career paths available that people can key
Okay,
into?
so let me answer the first one. My favorite. It's so weird that there's like everything is my favorite, but I think the one that
Ọtụtụ ọma, ọtụtụ ọma, Kachifu.
where is this coming from?
I'm just saying. Because he said everything's your favorite. And I said, oh, right now I remember. Ọtụtụ ọma, Kachifu.
Mm,
You know. But yeah, carry on, carry on.
I think my favorite. Ah, I won't say my favorite. Is it my well the one that I put my I was really exciting. I think my most
Okay.
exciting one so far has been Mikolo. It has been Mikolo because
Interesting. Why that?
so there's I said I'm always trying to be part of the process, right? So for
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Mikolo, I went all in the sense that I didn't only take up the legal, I took up props in production. So I was a props assistant. Like I had a madam on set, you know. I was
Wow.
props assistant
Too many hats.
on the set, and it involved traveling out of Lagos State and being out of Lagos State for over 2 weeks. And this involved me, the BTS of it was me driving within Oyo State. I mean, yes, not sorry, not Oyo, Ondo State. Driving within Ondo State, times we drove at 12 a.m. Times I had to. One time my car was giving issue. I had to leave them on set, go and look for a mechanic in Ondo State. Like that was
That's
like that was
very
like a two
exciting
hours
story.
drive, or 1 hour plus drive. I didn't know where I was going to. I was just driving to go and look for a mechanic. One person recommended it. You can imagine
That's
how crazy that was, you know. Being on set and being
wow.
part of the process is really exciting. And then you come back to Lagos and continuing the shoot. Because there was a Lagos beat, there was an Ondo beat. Like giving or going to the market in Ondo State to go and look for props that we didn't carry with us. In fact, carrying props in my car. I think I carried one very large teddy bear. My niece, I had to borrow my niece's teddy bears, and then one took an entire front seat, like was a passenger princess for the whole trip. Ah,
Passenger
nobody was
princess.
dragging the seat with the teddy bear because if you carry it, you will get tired. It was really large. I think that was my favorite project. That one was one of my favorite projects. I think then the next one was House of Secret and then Casa. Casa is still on its way. But the part about being hands
I
on,
saw the
you
trailer and I
understand?
was
So
like,
when
this is.
you see the
Hmm.
it's amazing being part of the creation, the beginning of it, the building of the set, the transformation like of an empty space into something just beautiful, the making of the furniture, the everything just and then having to deal with the contract, every contract at every stage, the contracts for those that would design the sets, the contracts that would those that would dress the sets, all those things. Like that process is very beautiful. So I think Mikolo will be my first. House of Secrets, because House of Secrets I was props as well. I was props and I was still legal, so I was, say, back and forth. House of Secret and Casa as well. Casa was I was a lot around the place in Casa as well. So it's you know, and even this new production, I'm still thinking of where.
Oh, Tutoma.
I don't know why
Eh?
you are saying this so much.
I'm greeting you. I'm greeting you. You know, it's exciting hearing my namesake say all these things. I mean, you've worked as a proper assistant, you're legal, you're
They've
an
made me do
arbitrator, you're
things. I think
compliance and
the
governance.
exciting
So,
thing about working here is I've had to expand on several things. I've presented I'm official voice artist. So anytime they need like, I know I'm an actress too. Just only my voice is acting.
I'm just
Uh
hearing
my voice
voice
is
actor.
on
Oh
demand for
Lord,
the
you're taking
job.
my dream job for me from me, Rita.
My voice is on
My
demand for the
dream job.
job. My voice is
As in
on Hear
call
You.
me.
I'm acting on.
Like,
My voice is on
see,
a number
you
of
are going to pay me for
things.
my name. Kudos. Very, 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 very proud. My shoulder pad is higher than your own right now. Very
Ah,
proud of you.
thank you. We are exhausted, but thank you. We are exhausted on
Okay.
several levels, but thank you.
So I hope everyone so I think everyone will be excited to hear all of the career opportunities that are available. But then before we wrap up, what would you say? I mean, you did mention IP audits. Would you like to share more light on that and then talk about trends you've noticed within the last 1 or 2 years within the film entertainment industry and then your closing words from there?
I think for IP audits,
Interesting. So what are the trends that you've noticed in the industry since you started working with Anthill?
hmm, trends that would be, I think, the fact that they're now new and inclusive. What they call it? They are like digital transformations. They are new ways of doing things coming up. You know, there are new ways. There's always an advancement in technology when it comes to how we used to stream films and what is obtainable now. There are now several ways of making money. You know, there's the growth in the streaming platforms. You have to adapt to their change, and then what that means is there's growth in quality of kind of films that go outside. There's a great like quality of films we see now within the past within the past couple of years, say 2 3 years, has been really really better. Money, people are putting money down to make these films, as opposed to then when it was, at the risk of sounding, I don't know, but that time they don't used to put money for films. It was very very small budgets. We still think the budgets can go up, but there's also a heightened focus on data privacy and security. Unlike before, where you just put out, they're very careful with the information of the people that you take in. Like you have to be careful with your the information of the actors, the cast and crew, because you're with their names, their account details, their addresses. A lot of the times, then there's now what you have for even the locations. There are things that have to be signed, right? Then there are collaborations that are coming up, and it is beautiful to see where not only one company comes up and say, "Oh, I own this film." Initially, you just have only one name, but now you have this particular people in conjunction with this particular people. You have that partnership, that collaboration to bring out a very very good film. And they're like, have the one of the things I'm seeing a lot that is coming out now, because there has to be inclusivity in your content creation. If you just keep trying, you have all the rainbows and the you have to represent everybody, right?
Everybody must be
Everybody
carried
must be
along.
carried along. Every gender must be carried along, and
He, she, they, them, us,
so that's
we.
the trends that are coming up now, that most content are inclusive. And unlike before, where you just say stuff, people are not, your content now, content, even movies, are, you're being careful of what you put in your film, down to what the message behind the films that ordinarily would have been oh my god, that was so romantic. You have to be careful that another set of audience don't see it as one person being misogynistic. This film is encouraging misogyny. You understand? This film is encouraging rape. You have to be careful, unlike before. Unlike before where people were not, it wasn't so much of a biggie. People are being, you have to be careful now. Yeah, I think those are. Then you have the NFTs and the all that. Those are the new trends, I think, that's happened now. And I dare say for us, because we did something really, really amazing with Mikolo, where you have CGI characters and live action. That is
Yeah, yeah, so that was
that
really
was
big
big
success.
for
Something that
us
we really
and for the
appreciate.
industry because
Hmm.
we like to go where nobody has gone. So I'm sure we'll see
Appreciate.
more of that. Yeah.
Appreciate. Trailblazers and trendsetters.
What
So
can we do?
I think it's been a very interesting conversation. I know, right? So I guess a summary of all our conversation would be importance of documentation, breaking boundaries, and going beyond people's
Mm.
expectation. Emphasis on auditing as well, and then there's the career options for lawyers and people within the space, and the need for more engagement and collaboration. So, what are your closing words before we end today's
Um,
episode?
I would say I'll tie it to what Anthill has taught me, right? And that would be because we're in a conservative career. It's a very, very, you know everybody's conservative. Everybody's, you don't want to step on any toes and all. For me, I'd say as a lawyer, explore everything you can explore. Don't put yourself in a bubble, because when I fully joined Anthill, because I've been part of Anthill from the onset, right? But when I fully joined Anthill and I was thrown into several things, at the beginning I was asking myself, is this what a lawyer is supposed to do? You know, even though I understood that you should explore, you should understand the business, but me taking on presenting gigs and doing voiceover for several new projects we're trying to come up with. You
Project.
know,
Yeah.
that whole, oh my god, I'm a lawyer. How can I be working with and being assistant to somebody on production? Knowing how to abound and abase, you know, and then sometimes dropping a little bit of the legalese in how you speak, because you are in an industry that is filled with emotion. So you need to understand that you have to understand where that emotion is flowing from. So I'd say it's basically exploring. Don't think that just because you're a lawyer you can't dabble into some of these things. You can't, you know, do other things. You can. It's like, and explore it so much that it makes you happy. Right? You're excited to talk about it. I was not. I don't think I ever posted the recordings I did, and it's so fun that it's on YouTube. The part where the ones where I did the voiceovers and the ones that I presented an entire celebration, and I was too shy
Oh.
and shy about how I will be seen. Oh my god, she's a lawyer. Why is she doing that? But over time, I realized that it gave me joy to do it. So if you are in the entertainment space, it will be so wonderful if you can find something within that space that makes you excited and you want to do it. Do it without even looking back. But always still remember that your training comes in very, very handy. You cannot even you can't even let go of that. Your training is the one thing that keeps you level headed. Then also learn the business of law. Learn law as a business and learn business as business. Because a lot of the times the clients and the company will be looking to you to balance them out. You are the one that went to school, you are the learned one. Do you get? They'll be looking to you to balance it out, to help them come down from their emotional roller coaster and ground them. That's basically what I think my closing remarks are.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I think again, I'm not sure you heard my interjection, but I'm saying too much pressure for lawyers now that they know that there's so much opportunities for us within this space. So thank you so much for spending your time this evening with us. I hope you had a good time here on IP series. Um, but yeah, I think that's my own. So, so yeah, thanks so much, Rita. We still have a video to, but I think we might just have to say it here. For spending your evening with us today on IP series. It means a lot to me, and I hope you had a fantastic time
I did.
with
I
here
did.
today. So happy. Sounds good.
We
I'll
do.
say that we want to have a video shoot together. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody can figure it out. My name is Rita Anwarah Chinda, and she is
Mhm.
Rita Anwara.
We'll
So
figure
that's the
it
video
out.
that we're supposed to do, but I'm sure we'll figure a way out how to we'll figure it out somehow. Well, thank you once again and have a good evening.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
And with that, we've come to the end of episode 120 slash the first episode of the 2023 Christmas edition. Super excited I got to talk to my namesake, but the video is still going to be made. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, subscribe on any of the platform you're currently listening to me. And happy holiday, guys. Cheers.